Have you ever felt completely blindsided by the people you trust the most? I'm talking about your own family. Today, I'm going to share a story that's hard to tell, but one I think you need to hear. It's about how my family, the people I loved more than anything, betrayed me for money. But it's also about how I fought back, legally, and took back everything that was rightfully mine. It all started after my grandfather passed away. Grandpa and I were incredibly close. He was more like a father to me than my own dad. We'd spend hours in his workshop. He taught me how to fish, and he always told me that hard work and honesty were the most important virtues. He was a successful businessman who built his company from the ground up. He always said he wanted his legacy to continue through someone who shared his values. In his will, he left the bulk of his estate, including his company and properties, to me. I was shocked, honored, but completely shocked. He left my parents and my older sister very generous trusts, enough to live comfortably for the rest of their lives. But the control, the main inheritance, was mine. He wrote in a personal letter that he saw his own spirit in me and trusted me to grow what he had built. Initially, my family seemed happy for me. There were hugs, congratulations, and talk of how proud Grandpa would be. But a few weeks later, things started to get weird. My dad, who had always been a bit distant, suddenly became very interested in the company's finances. My mom started making comments about how I was too young and inexperienced to handle such a responsibility. My sister, who I'd always looked up to, began treating me with a coldness I'd never seen before. Then the suggestions started. You should let your dad manage the portfolio. He has more experience. Why don't you make your sister a co-owner of the company? It was a constant barrage of pressure, disguised as friendly advice. I tried to be patient. I told them I appreciated their concern, but I intended to honor Grandpa's wishes and run things myself. That's when their true colors came out. The suggestions turned into demands, the demands into arguments. They called me selfish, ungrateful, and arrogant. My mom cried, saying I was tearing the family apart. My dad accused me of disrespecting him. My sister told me I was on a power trip. They made it seem like I was the villain, simply for wanting to follow my grandfather's last wishes. The family home, once a place of comfort, became a war zone. I felt so isolated and confused. These were the people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. How could they turn on me like this? The final straw came a few months later. I was reviewing the company's financials with the new accountant I'd hired. He looked uneasy. He pointed to a series of large, unexplained transfers from the company accounts to a shell corporation I'd never heard of. My heart sank. We dug deeper, and the truth was uglier than I could have imagined. My father, with the help of the company's old CFO who was loyal to him, had been siphoning money out of the business. Millions. And my sister? She was in on it too. They had forged my signature on documents, setting up this fake entity to drain the company's resources before I, in their words, ran it into the ground. My own father and sister. The betrayal was so profound, it felt like a physical blow. It wasn't just about the money. They had looked me in the eye day after day, while systematically stealing from me, from the legacy my grandfather had entrusted to me. The fake concern, the manufactured drama, it was all a cover. I was devastated. For about a week, I just shut down. I didn't answer their calls. I just sat in my apartment, trying to process how my own family could do this. I thought about just walking away, letting them have it. The fight seemed too overwhelming. But then I remembered my grandfather's words, hard work and honesty. He didn't build his empire by backing down from a fight. He faced challenges head on. Walking away would be betraying him, and betraying myself. That's when the sadness turned to resolve. I wasn't going to be a victim. I called my lawyer, a sharp, no-nonsense woman who my grandfather had always respected. I laid out everything: the forged documents, the bank transfers, the shell corporation. Her face was grim. She told me, "This is a serious case. It's fraud, plain and simple, but it's also your family. Are you prepared for what this will mean?" I took a deep breath and said, "Yes." What followed was the most difficult period of my life. We initiated a lawsuit. The legal battle was brutal. My family's defense was to paint me as incompetent and vindictive. They dragged my name through the mud, telling anyone who would listen that I was mentally unstable and trying to steal their rightful inheritance. They tried to use my grief over my grandfather's death against me. Every day felt like a new emotional assault. Some distant relatives and old family friends took their side, and I lost people I thought would always be in my corner. But I had the truth, and more importantly, I had the evidence. The paper trail was undeniable. My lawyer was incredible. She systematically dismantled their lies in court. We had forensic accountants trace every single dollar. We had handwriting experts confirm the forgeries. We presented the irrefutable proof of their scheme. The moment the judge ruled in my favor was not the triumphant, happy moment you see in movies. It was quiet, and it was heavy. The court ordered them to repay every cent they had stolen, with interest and legal fees. It effectively wiped out the trusts my grandfather had left them. They had gambled everything on their greed, and they lost. I saw them in the courtroom. My father wouldn't look at me. My mother was sobbing. My sister just stared at me with pure hatred. There was no remorse in their eyes, only anger that they'd been caught. Rebuilding was hard. I had to restructure the company, fire the people who were complicit, and restore the trust of my employees. It took time to heal from the betrayal. The emotional scars run deep. I had to accept that the family I loved was a memory, not a reality. It's a lonely feeling, but here's why I'm telling you this story. I got my grandfather's legacy back. I'm running the company now, and it's more successful than ever. I'm doing it with the integrity and hard work he taught me. I learned that you cannot let anyone, not even your own family, define your worth or take what is rightfully yours. Standing up for yourself, especially when it's the hardest thing to do, is the ultimate act of self-respect. The money was never the most important thing. It was about the principle. It was about honoring the trust my grandfather placed in me. The legal battle cost me my family, but it gave me back myself. I proved to myself that I am strong, capable, and resilient. And that's a fortune no one can ever steal. If you're going through a betrayal, please know that you are not alone. It can feel like your world is collapsing, but you have the strength to fight for what's right. Trust your instincts, gather your proof, and don't be afraid to draw a line in the sand. Sometimes the hardest battles are the ones that forge us into who we're meant to be. I'll be sharing more about my journey of rebuilding and entrepreneurship. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.